This rose garden that's at the front of my house is dedicated to my daughter. Probably cry. These two roses in the centre here are called Mr. Lincoln. They're a beautiful dark red rose. Very beautiful perfume. They were her favourite rose. Around them I've got 4 silver chain roses that are called Chain of Hearts. Beautiful perfumed roses. My daughter Kaya was 13 and started getting migraines. At 18, she got really sick and was getting migraines constantly. She had a whole week of migraines and she'd vomit and vomit and vomit. Couldn't stand the light. And she was so ill. And she was just lying on the floor in the lounge room, just vomiting. She was 18, just had her 18th birthday in March. And it was June, it was cold. She was lying in front of the fire. Every time I turned on the TV, it came up brain cancer. She wouldn't go to the doctors, and so I ended up just making so much noise, and I said, Kai, you need to go to the doctors. I said, there's something wrong with you. So through me bashing pots and pans in the kitchen, she went and said, yeah, all right, Mum, take me up to the hospital. And I'd been taking her, and they'd been sending us home with medication, which wasn't working. And I got the same nurses that said, what are you doing here? I told you to go home and see your GP. And I said, yeah, I've gone home. I've rung my GP. He said, come up here, get a scan. They did a scan, came back and apologised to me and said, yeah, you were right to bring her in. And I knew they come so quickly back. She had a 6-centimetre tumour on her brain. She was rushed up to Perth. We live in the country in WA, in Western Australia. They removed a 6-centimetre tumour, which was sent away. Her personality changed when she had the tumour. She was quite aggressive, quite aggro. And she turned back into my beautiful, sweet, gorgeous girl that was so calm and relaxed, and she just glowed. A few weeks later, went back to Perth and they said that she had brain cancer. We got stuffed around by the doctors up in Perth. We were told it was all clear and then, just do chemo treatment. We said no. Then in the next breath, they turned around and said, oh, no, there's no tumours in your spine. And the radiologist turned around to us and said, well, what are you going to do about the other 12? Well, whatever, 12. The doctor had just given us the all clear. There was another 12 little tumours throughout her brain. She had a rare sort of brain cancer that most kids die before they're 5. She was my fruit eater. She didn't like sweets and lollies and cakes and stuff like that. You gave her a piece of fruit or a cake, she'd always pick the fruit. We came home. We started doing juicing. I went on the internet. I tried to find as much research as possible. She was doing organics juicing. Hair was starting to grow back from where it had been shaved for the surgery. She was glowing. Her eyes were bright and blue and clear, and she was just living life. We were giving some funding, and the next breath, we had the doctors ringing, "You've got to do this treatment, you've got to do treatment." And we got bullied into doing treatment over this money that we were given. So we ended up doing treatment, and they basically poisoned her. After the treatment, we went back. She lost all her hair. She was put on steroids. She bloated out. All her skin stretched. She started bleeding from where her skin was stretching. She wouldn't go out. Oh, she'd lost all her confidence. People would pick on her because she had no hair. She was 18. And it was the kids and the older ladies that were picking on her. And my daughter wouldn't go anywhere. She stayed home. They said, "You're lucky if you've got 2 weeks left with her before she dies." And this was in February. She lasted until September, but they basically poisoned her. I wouldn't let her go. I used to be a nurse many years ago. When she was in the hospital, this arsehole of a male doctor took a drip out of her arm and broke her arm. And so I would never let her out of my sight again. She stayed at home. She started getting left-sided weakness, and her legs were starting to go. I said, "Kaya, if your legs go, I can't keep you at home anymore." She rang her dad, and her dad brought her a whole pile of blue lollies. Blue colouring triggered a fit in her. I didn't realise at the time. She sat with my other younger daughter, had all these blue lollies that night. She had a massive fit. And within a couple of hours, she died in my arms. She was 19. So this is why my garden is the way it is. It's how I cope. I produce the goodness, good food, in memory of my daughter. It's how I cope. Thanks for listening to my story. Bye.